All right, let's do the in-class application question 10, which I realize now somebody asked me the pre-tax cost of debt and the post-tax cost. This should say the pre-tax cost of debt. I made a mistake and I did not realize that this line was right here. So the point of this is that the post-tax cost of debt is going to be the cost of debt times 1 minus the tax rate. This is considered the pre-tax cost of debt, and you have to factor in the tax rate in order to get the sort of true cost of debt. I am really sorry to the person that I described that to. I just did not realize that you were pointing at this line, and I should have fixed this line as well because I made some changes from the prior problem. Again, the post-tax cost of debt takes into account that the debt is taxed at a lower rate. If you use the pre-tax cost of debt, then you have to multiply times 1 minus the tax rate. I made a mistake, and I hope that fixes it. All right. These are the two formulas, and this is the target debt to equity ratio. Let's just write out what we need to do this problem. So we need the percent debt, we need the percent equity, we need the cost of debt, the cost of equity, and we need 1 minus the tax rate. Well, the tax rate is 25%, so we can get that easily. We know that the debt to equity ratio is 0.38. We can do some math to get the percent debt. So the percent debt is going to be debt over debt plus equity. You can rearrange this equation such that debt equals 0.38 times equity. If you plug in every time you see the letter D, 0.38e, you end up with percent debt 0.38e divided by 0.38e plus e. 0.38e divided by 1.38e. Those cancel. We end up with percent debt equals 0.38 divided by 1.38. Equity is going to be 1 minus percent debt. If you don't believe me, you can do the same substitution here and you will end up with percent equity equals, this becomes 1 over 1.38. Notice they're exactly the same. The cost of equity is going to be 12%. And we are going to solve for the cost of debt. There are a lot of different ways to do this. When I did goal seek, it didn't quite give us the right answer, but let's go ahead and try it and see. If we wanted to calculate the weighted average cost of capital, let me put in a guess. Let's guess that this is 0.095, 9.5%. The weighted average cost of capital is percent debt times the cost of debt times the post-tax, and this is pre-tax cost of debt right here, plus percent equity times cost of equity. Let's do goal seek. We're using 0.101 because that's what's in the problem. There we go, 6.8%. So goal seek helped us in this one. Maybe I did something wrong in the actual class itself, but the answer is 6.8%. We use goal seek to do it. You can do it algebraically, and why not? Percent debt is 0.27 times let's see, the cost of debt is, well, let's call that x. Let's just do cost of debt times 0.75 plus 0.72 times 0.12. If you solve this equation, you end up with pretend there's cost of debt right there. So you do that, oops, that minus that. And so this would be like 0.014 equals 0.2065 times cost of debt. And we end up with the same answer here. This is to show you that you could do it algebraically. All right, let's do the same thing for the second part of the problem. Percent. There we go. We no longer need to know cost of debt. We have a cost of debt of 6.4%, 0.064, and we want to know the cost of equity. So let's just leave that there. We'll goal seek this. Data, what if, goal seek 0.101 by changing cell cost of equity. And we should end up with, we're a little bit off, and that's probably a rounding issue, with 0.112. Let me make sure that all this is correct. We know that formula is correct. Yeah, it's because GoalSeek didn't quite give us the right formula. Let's do it algebraically just to make certain. So the weighted average cost of capital is going to be 0.101, and we are solving for, we know all of the stuff about the debt, so the first term is going to be percent debt times cost of debt times the tax rate. The next term is going to be percent equity. So this would be 1.01 equals 0.0132 plus 0.72 times, we have to do 46 times cost of equity. So if we do this minus that, then we do this divided by that, we get 12.114. So the discrepancy here is a result of GoalSeek not giving us quite the right answer. This would be the true answer, and you would get this basically just through algebra. If you can set up this equation right here and just solve for cost of equity, it gives you 12.114%. Again, I'm really sorry for the confusion on this. It should have said pre-tax cost of debt right here, and it said post-tax. That was my mistake, and thank you to the person who pointed that out.